Hey guys, welcome back to Keeping Up with the Nerds. My name is Bryan, and yes, this is the solo video that was promised in the first video for that came out on Monday. So this is going to be pretty much my thoughts on the DC fandom, which will include my top three favorite things. Ugh, I can't even speak. My top three favorite things from the convention, as well as one thing that I felt like was a little bit kind of off from the DC fandom. So let's just get started. We're going to make these videos short, so that way they're not that long, and it doesn't kill me with editing, because I've got a long week ahead of me. So let's jump right into it. What did I personally think of the event? So pretty much in regards to what was discussed in the first episode, or the first video on Monday, the event was nothing short of fantastic. In my opinion, I think that this was possibly one of the best online conventions that DC could have possibly done. They knew how to tackle my inner nerd. The best way to possibly describe it, like I said in the video, was excitement. I fell in love with nerd stuff again. DC did such a fantastic job in just integrating nostalgia and making me feel like everything that was announced was important, that I needed to pay attention, and that I needed to be there, and that me being there, me watching, was something just spectacular. And without us, you know, the event couldn't have happened. And I think that that is fantastic. I can't wait for a September 12th one. Rene pretty much put it well in the video as well, that this could possibly lead into future conventions, online conventions, and pretty much a future outline of how conventions can go from here on out, which is great because DC and Warner Brothers hit it right. This was fantastic. It was seamless. It was easy. You jumped straight into the conventions and panels without having to click anything. It jumped right straight into the live panels, which is nothing short of fantastic. And yeah, I really, really like that. Before we go into the positives though, let's talk about the least favorite thing from my own experiences. The one thing that I kind of feel was a little bit off was in one of the previous issues of the podcast, we pretty much said that DC was, or the DC fandom was going to have different verses, different places where you can go into to pretty much see different things. So like behind the scenes stuff, and the kid stations, like an artist alley place, and a place like called the U-verse and stuff like that. From my experiences, at least, because I was watching it on the phone, I didn't really see any of that stuff. I think that that was kind of a weak side of the DC fandom event, especially when you're promising that much. You should at least try to integrate it easier and find methods to make people find those things, like, you know, jump into those places a lot easier than having to look from place to place. I did have a little bit of experience with the website once I got home, and I still couldn't find it. I tried Googling it. I tried doing different things. I might be an idiot. I don't know. Possibly, maybe I missed it and, you know, just quickly trying to get through it. My bad if that was the case. Personally, I feel like the integration of other verses was a little bit lackluster. Even the store didn't really feel like it was a big thing. Hall of Heroes was the main centerpiece. It's a good thing. It's also a bad thing, especially when you kind of advertise all these different places, and Hall of Heroes is the big thing, and it kind of doesn't allow you to do and go anywhere else. So let's jump into the positives. My top three favorite things from the actual event. I'm not going to mention Batman. Straight up right now, yes, Batman obviously is like number one on everyone's list, but I'm going to try to make this a little bit more difficult for myself. And we will exclude Batman off this list. I know that my buddy Rene over here is going to include Batman in his list. Right, Rene?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave it out of my list. But there is a form of Batman that I am going to include in this one, and I will start from the bottom to the top. John Ridley's mini Batman series. When that one was announced, I pretty much got really excited because it's coming from John Ridley, who is the writer of 12 Years of Slaves. And I really want to see how he's going to approach this, especially when it came out that he is going to write about a Batman of color, that there is according to him, a 40% chance of it being a Batman of color. When I read this coming from comicbook.com and from other sites, it kind of was misleading. It didn't really feel like they were trying to properly explain his wordage, and it just kind of seemed like they were going to, you know, throw away Bruce Wayne. That's not the case. Apparently, it's going to be this Batman might be related to how do you pronounce it? Lucius Fox. And he's going to work alongside, or be this Batman will be exist alongside the current existing Bruce Wayne Batman. It'll be a 4-issue miniseries, and we still don't know exactly if it's going to be integrated within the current run of Batman or if it's going to exist as an alternate timeline. Either way, I'm excited. We're getting another Batman series. This is fantastic news. More books for me to buy. So Rene, you know what to do about the comic book store. Yes. Okay. Part 2. We're going to, and this is kind of a difficult one. I'm going to leave this bad boy for last. We're going to talk about James Gunn's Suicide Squad. The excitement for this movie came in bits and pieces. Honestly, it started off with the logo. I fell in love with it immediately and got this sense of like, holy crap, he's getting us with the comic book art style. It reminded me so much of the comic book art style of Scott Pilgrim, like an ode to it, you know? And I'm not saying that it is exactly like Scott Pilgrim. I'm just saying that it felt like it's an ode to comic book stuff. And that's what that title gave me. So I feel like James Gunn understands how to approach this and will pretty much give us a Suicide Squad that will blow our socks off and just be extremely fun. It's one of the reasons why Scott Pilgrim was one of my top 3 movies of all time. It got knocked out by Baby Driver, unfortunately. But, you know, that's one of the reasons why. It is a fun, fantastic, visually beautiful movie, and I feel like James Gunn will probably do that. James Gunn most famously did Guardians of the Galaxy, Volumes 1 and 2, and those were just fun movies that people fell in love with immediately. I want to say that James Gunn also directed the movie Slither. Yes, okay, thank you for confirming. I didn't know that, and that is kind of interesting because, and he also did that weird Superman movie, right?
Oh, yeah, Brightburn.
Brightburn, there you go, yes. So, knowing all this stuff kind of it makes me feel safe, knowing that the Suicide Squad is in safe hands, because it looks like he's having a lot of fun making this movie. And oh, we haven't even gotten to the actors yet. I'm still talking about James Gunn. Yeah, when a director has fun, in my opinion, you know that this movie is just going to be fantastic. It's, you know, Edgar Wright, pretty much, like I said, director of Scott Pilgrim. He freaking loved the movie that he was making, especially with Baby Driver as well. His interviews showcased him being excited to make these movies. James Gunn showed the same excitement. So for me to see that, I am as excited to watch this movie, and the behind the scenes stuff that was showcased for that as well. Fantastic. I am on board. James Gunn, you have my vote. Of course, Rene, you mentioned the cast. Nathan Fillion's on there. No duh. That's like every comic book nerd's dream man. Like, even like the man doesn't age. The man doesn't age at all. It's fantastic. Peter Capaldi was a surprise on there. Pete Davidson, one of my favorite comedians from Saturday Night Live, was surprisingly on there as well. Who else was on there? Oh, John Cena as well. So you got a cast. I can't name them all. The cast is phenomenal. I can't wait. I will end on this. Margot Robbie has defined the live action Harley Quinn. No questions. My opinion, she is the definite live action Harley Quinn. For the moment, we never know until future, but yes. And last but not least, we are getting updates on the Flash movie. It is one of few movies that did not get any teasers of, you know, any live action shots of teasers. You know, other movies as well, like Aquaman, Shazam, and Black Adam, they just kind of got short little snippets. The Flash got concept art, which, you know, by all means, I'll take it. But Ezra Miller was there kind of making little quirks and little snippets and jokes and stuff like that. And he even managed to rickroll us. Yeah, I'm not that happy about that one. I was just kind of like in shock that he managed to rickroll the entire audience who was excited to find or see something from The Flash. Thanks, Ezra Miller, for making me feel stupid. But the Flash movie, really excited. Costume, fantastic. I am really excited to see Miller take the role of The Flash and pretty much see how he approaches this as well. And to finally see concept art with The Flash and Michael Keaton's Batman is fantastic. I still have hope. I still have hope that this movie possibly leads into a Batman Beyond mention. No, can you just let me have this, please? It's going to happen. It's going to. Just watch. Michael Keaton will probably become Old Man Bruce, and he's gonna be like, they're not gonna de-age this guy. They're gonna keep him as. Oh my God, they're not gonna. Okay, here's my thought, and hear me out here. Okay, they're not going to de-age Michael Keaton. He's going to be old man Bruce fighting in Batman. And we're not going to see, you know, Terry McGinnis on there. Of course not. They haven't even cast it or anything, but they're probably going to mention the Michael Keaton timeline will lead into a Batman Beyond movie. There's a possibility. Look, I am still keeping hope. Flash, make it happen. Make my dreams come true. Don't listen to Rene.
Yes.
All right, guys. So that just pretty much wraps up the my portion of the video. Rene's video will deal with his stuff, his top 3 things, as well as his least favorite thing from the convention. But if you like what you saw, guys, please hit subscribe, hit the notification button as well. We are doing a week-long stuff of DC fandom, so if you guys haven't caught it, there is a podcast that came out on Wednesday, which will talk about all of the major stuff announced from the DC fandom event. But yeah, if you like it, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification button. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching this episode or this video of Keeping Up with the Nerds. My name is Brian. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.